So, Cammy, I understand your imbecile sister will be coming to the next family reunion. If I recall correctly, both of you are high school dropouts. This will be an excellent opportunity to see just how horrendously stupid your family is. I never quite understood why my son decided to marry you. But perhaps after he sees the two of you dunces in the same place, he'll come to his senses.
Good evening, Miranda. To answer your question, yes, my sister is planning on attending. And yes, we did both drop out of high school. However, my sister is a good person. I don't think she'll cause any problems for you.
You don't have to tell me that you don't think, Cammy. I'm already aware of that. Sometimes I almost feel bad for the two of you. It must have been difficult growing up in a family that hardly even had 2 pennies to rub together. Even being a big of a failure as you are, I'll bet both you and your sister make more money than your parents did combined. Don't get me wrong, though. I'm not the least bit interested in hearing your sob stories about your impoverished childhood. So, if you must talk, I'd appreciate it if you could at least say something that more educated people than yourselves would find interesting.
Well, we didn't really struggle all that much. I don't have any sob stories to tell in the first place.
You don't need to lie to me, Cammy. Rather, I should say that there's no point. I already know exactly what you are.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, though, what is wrong with that sister of yours? You've been married for months now, and yet she hasn't come by to introduce herself? Really, that's exceptionally rude of her. In any case, we'll finally get the chance to meet her soon. Now, my husband may tease her a bit for various reasons, including the obvious one that she's an imbecile. However, I want you to keep in mind that anything he says to you is your fault. Don't shoot the messenger, as they say. You can't complain when he points out simple truths about you.
Right. Well, my sister is out of the country pretty often on business. I haven't even seen her in several months, which is something that I believe I've explained to you before. So I don't know why you think it's rude for her to not have met you yet when she's been literally physically incapable of meeting you up until now.
I told you, Cammy, your uneducated lies won't work on me. If your sister hasn't come to meet you since your wedding, it's most likely because she doesn't think your wedding is important enough. Either that, or the two of you have always hated each other and she never intended on seeing you in the first place. Bitter sibling rivalries are common in lower class families. In any case, rude is rude. She should have made more of an effort to visit us. Goodness me, it's bad enough she's a high school dropout, but having no manners on top of that? Disgraceful. There are absolutely no redeeming factors to her at all.
It's interesting that you would say that, seeing as you haven't even met her yet.
Knowing you is enough. And you should know that you are a massive black spot on our otherwise noble family. Do not embarrass me when the family comes over. Do you understand me?
Yes, Miranda, I understand.
That was the funniest thing I've seen in ages! The way you screamed when my husband poured that cup of hot tea on your head, it was like something out of an old Saturday morning cartoon. I was right to invite you to come. The court jester is the perfect role for an idiot high school dropout like you.
I still can't believe what just happened. It would be one thing if it were an accident, but that was on purpose. I think he just gave me burns on my scalp and part of my face. It really hurts. I need to go find some ice or something.
I imagine it does hurt when you've been reminded of your place. You were such a rotten little upstart in there, bragging about your sister. So what if she's achieved a mediocre of success as a model? You're both still beneath us and should have maintained a proper attitude. How could you be so delusional about yourselves? Congratulations, you're slightly taller than the average woman. Oh, and I suppose maybe your sister might be considered pretty by some men with lower standards. That doesn't change the fact that the two of you are nothing but a couple of idiots and completely useless to society.
Miranda, you can mock me all you want. I can deal with that. But I will not stand for you insulting my sister.
What's that? Would you like another cup of tea? Apparently the first wasn't enough to make you understand. It's precisely that baseless pride in your sister that made my husband feel the need to teach you a lesson in the first place. No matter what either of you do, you will never be on the same level as my family. Once you made the decision to become a dropout, you tactically consented to bearing that title for the rest of your life. Other than you two, every single person in that room graduated from college, and prestigious ones at that. You marrying my son was the worst humiliation I have ever suffered in my life.
I am waiting for the part where you justify doing what you did to me, Miranda.
Shut your mouth. I don't need to justify anything to the likes of you. Now hurry up and get back in here right away. You have work to do. Thanks to you, my husband needs a fresh cup of tea, and he wants it right away. You've got some burns on your face? Oh, you poor thing. Your arms and legs still work. I hope you realize how much your misbehavior has ruined the atmosphere of what was a delightful afternoon. You will come before my husband, get on your knees, and apologize for your behavior this instant.
And if I refuse?
Then you will no longer be welcomed in this family.
I've met some stuck-up, elitist slimeballs in my life, but you bring the term to a whole new level.
What did you just say to me?
That's it. I can't take this anymore. It's time I put an end to this charade and tell you the truth about who I am.
What on earth are you going on about? I already know exactly what you are. A pathetic, miserable, idiotic, useless high school dropout. And for that little outburst, you will apologize to me once you're done apologizing to my husband.
We'll see who's apologizing to who when the day is done.
Cammy, I am so terribly sorry for what I've done. I was incredibly rude to you. Please, dear, can't you find it in your heart to forgive an old woman's foolishness?
I do not need, nor do I want, an apology from you. What you've done to me is not something that you can fix with just an apology. The world isn't that simple of a place. And I'm not that forgiving of a person. So don't bother debasing yourself by groveling at my feet. It's not going to do you any good. I cannot deal with you, your husband, my husband, or anyone in that bile-infested cesspool you call a family any longer. I'm going home now. Oh, and I know how excruciating it is for you to have a filthy little high school dropout like me for a daughter-in-law, so you know what? I think I'll spare you any more grief and divorce your son. I'm so sorry for all the trouble I've caused you, but don't worry, I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
No, Cammy, don't! I take back all the nasty things I've ever said about you.
Is this how stupid all you fancy university graduates are? Because God in heaven, you are dense. You can't just take it back. Did you think life is like a social media post that you could just delete it if it doesn't get the reaction you expected? Well, you're too late. The damage is done. Your husband's assault, and yes, it was an assault, has left me with burns on about a third of my face. I'm on my way to the hospital now so they can examine me. Once they do, I'm going straight to the police and filing a report against you. And right after that, I am going to have a talk with my lawyer about what my next steps are going to be.
What? Police? Lawyer? Come now, Cammy! Don't you think you're blowing this out of proportion? We're family, you know? this was just a minor little family scuffle, that's all. These things happen all the time. We don't need to go getting the police or courts involved.
You might think that way, but unfortunately for you, I am not a pathetic pushover. I will go to the police about what you did to me, and that's final. Oh, and another thing? I am also going to talk to my lawyer about drawing up a set of divorce papers so I can break up with your son as soon as possible. So, within a few weeks, we're not going to be a family anymore.
Wait! Cammy, please. I had no idea that you were a millionaire real estate investor. Not only that, but you own the housing development where this very house is built. I mean, the only thing I ever heard about your work from my son was that you hardly ever work at all. He said you mostly just sit around looking at your laptop all day, so I figured you were unemployed.
Good grief, Miranda, what year is it? I don't need to leave the house to make money. All I need is a laptop and an internet connection, and I'm good to go.
Ah, yes, I suppose you're right. Technology is incredible these days, isn't it? But if you don't mind me asking, how on earth did you learn the investment skills you would need to amass that kind of fortune? I mean, you are a high school dropout after all.
Oh, thank you so much for reminding me. You haven't mentioned that in the last 5 minutes, so I almost forgot about that. Seriously, I've never met anyone with such a bizarre prejudice against high school dropouts as you in my life. Do you think I dropped out because I was too dumb to graduate?
Is there any other reason to drop out from high school?
I'm glad you asked. Yes, I had a very good reason to drop out of high school. It was a complete waste of time. When I turned 16, I had an epiphany. I had spent more than 10 years in the educational system, but I was learning more in my free time looking things up myself than when I was at school. That's when I thought to myself, why am I sitting in this concrete prison for 8 hours a day when I could be learning more by myself? And so I did just that. I dropped out and started just studying whatever I wanted to. My sister did the same thing for a slightly different reason. She wanted to be a model and start her own fashion brand and dropped out a little bit before I did. Do you get it now? We dropped out of our own volition.
So you're not an idiot? You're actually quite intelligent?
Yeah, I guess you could say that, though I'd like to think that just about anyone is capable of doing what I did. Once they free themselves from the constraints of this country's educational system, that's it. I learned more from self-study and real-world experience than I ever would have if I finished my last few years of public education.
When you say it like that, it makes a good deal of sense. But if that's the case, why would you hide all of that from us? You were lying to us about who you really were this whole time. Don't you feel guilty at all about lying to your family?
Please, Miranda, everything I do is calculated, and that includes not letting you know my true identity.
What do you mean?
Ever since I became successful, I could see the people around me changing. It turns out there are actually a lot of people like you who change their tone based on how much money a person has. I started getting complimented more than I ever had before. People who never paid attention to me before suddenly became very interested in what I do and how I do it. That was a wake-up call. If people know that I'm wealthy, then they're not going to show me who they really are when they're around me. So I decided that I would start hiding that fact about myself and then see how people act towards me. Then I can know what kind of person they really are. That is why I never told you about myself. I was still judging whether you were the type of people I could let my guard down around.
I see. But you chose my son as your husband, right? That's wonderful. And my son chose to take you as his wife, too, despite you being a high school dropout. That must mean the two of you are truly in love with each other. I'm so happy for the both of you. You have a long life full of happiness ahead of you.
Yeah, about that. I'm not really one to toot my own horn, but... well, my sister is a world-famous model, right? She's objectively one of the most beautiful and desired women in the world. And, well, I'm her sister. We look quite a bit alike. We're both pretty long-legged and in good shape. And while I can admit Alana has a prettier face than me, we still have our sibling resemblance. Which is all to say that I have never had any trouble finding men who were interested in me, even without them knowing I have money. Your son and I became friendly, and yes, I agreed to marry him. But he was still on probation.
Probation? You mean to tell me you didn't fully trust him even after you got married?
I've been burned in the past by men I thought I could trust. I understand why you wouldn't think very highly of that, but it's basically a survival instinct for me. When we first got married, he was treating me pretty well, and I thought that maybe he was a genuinely nice guy. That didn't last very long, however. I gave him an airtight cover story about a job that allowed me to work from home, but he didn't believe me. He thought all the work-from-home jobs were for intelligent people, which, me being a stupid high school dropout, I couldn't possibly be. So he stopped doing any chores at all and spent all this time going to bars and nightclubs. His words to me were, if you're just going to lay around the house doing nothing all day and contribute absolutely nothing to this family, then I'm going to do whatever the hell I want with my money. To be honest, I've been getting pretty fed up with him lately.
Well, I know that it may not be my place to comment on someone else's relationship, but don't you think there's a possibility that you were both contributing to the difficulties between you?
Sure, that's definitely possible. However, he won't even talk to me about our problems. He says talking about feelings is for girls. How are we supposed to repair our relationship if he won't even talk to me? This marriage is a lost cause, and I am putting an end to it.
You can't just decide that on your own. You're a couple. You need to talk to each other. Something as big as a divorce should be a joint decision, not you simply forcing your will onto him.
Did you not just see me say that he won't talk to me? And besides, his attitude isn't the only reason I'm divorcing him. The way your entire family has treated me is utterly reprehensible, and I won't deal with it any longer. And then the second you learned I'm rich, all of a sudden you start treating me better. What a coincidence, right? You all disgust me. I gave you a chance and you threw it away, so I'm leaving. Now get out of my house.
Your house?
Your son told you he bought that house, didn't he?
Oh no. You mean he didn't actually buy it?
Nope, it was me. He just told you it was him and let you live there without my permission. Now that we're divorced, I have no reason to put up with you anymore, so I want you out.
You can't do this to us. We love this house. It's our home.
It was your home. But as of tomorrow, I'm selling it to the highest bidder, so get your things cleared out by morning. I hope you enjoyed your time living rent-free at my expense, because those days are over. You're going to have to take care of yourselves from now on.
Oh my God, Cammy, what is wrong with those people? Like, for real, what were you thinking marrying that guy? The whole family is the absolute worst.
You can say that again. I'm really sorry about yesterday, Alana. It was the first time you've been back in the country in forever, but it ended up being a total waste of time for you. But on a positive note, it's thanks to you that I now know exactly what sort of people they all are. I made my decision. I'm divorcing him and moving on with my life.
Oh, you're divorcing him? That's a huge relief. If you didn't say that, I was this close to having my security team go down and teach your husband some manners.
I would have paid money to see that happen.
It can still happen if you want, girl. Just say the word.
Nah, that's all right. He's going to get what's coming to him already.
If you say so, but the offer's on the table. By the way, sorry I couldn't go to the hospital with you. I had to go see somebody for work.
That's totally fine. My doctor said my burns shouldn't take too long to heal. He gave me some cream for it and said there shouldn't be any permanent scarring.
That's a relief. How would you get yourself a new man without that gorgeous face of yours? Okay, but for real, can we talk some more about how those people are literally the worst human beings on the planet? My charity just shut down a sweatshop in Asia that was run by nicer people than them. I mean, your father-in-law actually dumped a cup of hot tea on your head just because you're a high school dropout. And then your mother-in-law told you to go make him another cup? They're psychos, just straight up psychos, all of them.
It was great watching all their faces when you told them all about the businesses that you've started over the past few years. You could tell their brains were kicking into overdrive to find a reason to make fun of you in spite of your massive success.
And in the end, all that geezer would come up with was, well, I spent a solid week working on my doctoral thesis.
Right? As if that's even close to as impressive as anything you've accomplished in the last week.
I'm surprised you put up with that for as long as you did, though, Cammy. Didn't it hurt to have them mock you like that?
Honestly, I came close to feeling bad for them. Like in the back of my mind, I was just thinking about how their brains were going to explode once I told them who I really was.
Okay, and one more thing. I was also waiting to see what you were planning to do about your husband before I told you this, but that guy is an absolute scumbag. And I'm not just talking about the way he was laughing right along while your mother-in-law was mocking you. Remember when he showed me where the bathroom was? He tried to hit on me while I was in the bathroom. Like, he was standing outside the door trying to put the moves on me.
No way.
Yes way. I'm really sorry, Cammy. It has to hurt, but I thought you deserved to know the truth.
You know, nothing he does hurts me anymore. Because the truth is, I actually found out recently just what kind of a scumbag he is.
Really? You don't mean?
Yep, it's exactly what you think. At first I thought he was just your average, everyday, run-of-the-mill jerk. But it turns out he's actually a grade A certified sleaze bucket.
Cammy, are you really going to divorce my son? He just came by our new house to tell us about it. I wish you could see how badly he's hurting right now. Listen, I know the two of you have been through some difficulties, but won't you please reconsider what you're doing?
Unsurprisingly, it seems like your son didn't tell you the whole story. He betrayed me, Miranda. He's been cheating on me for just about as long as we've been married, and I have all the evidence I need to prove it. I'm moving forward with divorcing him. And I am going to sue him to recover the money that he spent out of our joint savings account on his mistress.
You're suing him? But you can't honestly think you're innocent in all of this.
Excuse me?
It's clear that my poor son wasn't satisfied with you. If he were, then he wouldn't have had any reason to go after other women. You must not have been trying hard enough to win his favor. Either that or not paying enough attention to his needs as a man. You can't sue him for something that you drove him to.
Wow, that is some super duper intellectual legal analysis by you, Miranda. Unfortunately, it happens to be 100% wrong, however. The law is on my side, and I will sue both him and your husband, and I will win.
What? You're suing my husband too? Wasn't it enough that you filed a police report against him? They're telling him he has to report to the station for questioning now.
I fully intend to take advantage of every remedy afforded to me by the law. You're going down.
Cammy, can't we talk about this?
No. No good will ever come from talking to you crazies. If you have any questions or complaints, feel free to address them to my lawyer. And with that, I bid you adieu.
That's it? You're just going to walk out of our lives like nothing ever happened? How could you be so heartless?
You want to talk about being heartless, Miranda? Heartless is betraying your wife and spending all your time with your mistress. Heartless is a mother justifying her son's wanton infidelity. Me? I'm not heartless. Most people with a functioning moral conscience would look at what you and your son did to me and be furiously apologizing. You, however, are going for a slightly different strategy. The old try and guilt the victim into not getting justice for herself strategy. It's a bold move, but sadly, it's not going to pay off for you.
But Cammy, we lost our house because of you. Now you're suing my husband on top of that? I thought that if you would just relent on suing my son, we could rely on him to support us. But he'll never be able to afford to help us out when you're through with him. If anything, we'll be the ones who have to help him out. Someone's got to help him mend the broken heart you left him with.
He's still got his mistress, right? She can pick up the pieces for you. But as of now, I no longer have any reason to care how sad he is. He could have chosen the path of being a decent husband to me, and the payoff to him and you would have been astronomical. But instead, you all chose the path of derision, mockery, betrayal, and violence. And now you're getting the punishment you deserve.
Isn't it punishment enough for us to lose our house? None of us thought this would happen, Cammy. We were totally caught off guard. You don't have to do anything for us ever again, but please don't abandon my son.
You're wasting your time, Miranda. The world isn't as convenient a place as you think it is. All of you have done terrible things to me that you can't take back. Seriously, you opened this conversation by trying to convince me that I was the one at fault for my husband cheating on me.
I apologize, Cammy, for everything. I apologize as many times as you want. So please forgive us.
Your son already tried to come crying to me, and you're not going to do any better than he did. I have no need for a cheating man and his evil family. My now ex-husband was crying his eyes out during the entire meeting with my lawyer. It didn't even faze me. Once our divorce was finalized, I immediately launched my lawsuits against all of them and kicked them out of my house. They tried to use squatters' rights to keep living there, but it wasn't going to work. When my husband's mistress found out they'd been caught, she immediately broke up with him and disappeared. So when they became homeless, loveless, and deep in debt, did the lovely family come together and support each other in their time of need? Of course not. They started blaming each other and had a big blowout fight, and all went their separate ways. And with that, the story of my brief yet eventful marriage comes to an end. It felt really good taking down a family full of scuzzy losers like them. So don't feel bad about me for having to deal with all that trouble. It's all behind me now. I'm just as optimistic as ever about the bright future ahead of me.
Hey there, Hillary. I just saw that you made reservations at my husband's restaurant, but was that a mistake by chance? Or were you just too stupid that you forgot where you were making a reservation at?
Rhonda, what are you talking about, and what makes you think that you can talk to me that way this early into a conversation?
Well, I'm just saying, you do know that my husband's restaurant is one of the top French restaurants in the whole city, right? And I really don't think it's the kind of place that people of your standing can afford to eat out at.
If you must know, we are going out to celebrate our anniversary. That's why we're splurging and chose your husband's restaurant. In fact, we're really looking forward to getting to eat out there since it's so difficult to get reservations in the first place.
Wait a second, you mean that you were going to come in to celebrate yours and your husband's wedding anniversary? You were really going to come out to my husband's restaurant to do that? Don't you think that doing something like that to celebrate your anniversary is just a little, I don't know, childish?
Not really. How is a dinner date with your husband childish at all? And even if it were, it's not really any of your business how we decide to enjoy our anniversary. And it's even less of your business to even be commenting on it.
But you're the ones that are going to be coming to our restaurant, yes? So surely I'm allowed to have feelings about it. Besides, you know that a French restaurant is a very grown-up place, don't you? We can't have children like you and your husband ruining the atmosphere for everyone. Well, thankfully, there won't be any children there anyways. My parents were going to watch our kids while we go out. So this was just going to be a date for the two of us, so you can rest easy knowing that no children are going to be there while we're at your restaurant. Wow, you mean you even went so far as to find sitters for your silly little date? But can you really even call yourself a mother if that's how you treat your kids? You just slough off having to watch them so that you and your husband can pretend that you two are kids again? Is that really what you think a good parent does? Rhonda, I think that you are acting absolutely ridiculous right now. I mean, what are you even complaining about at this point? The fact of the matter is that we called to make a reservation and the restaurant accepted it. I really don't see what the point is in dragging out the topic any longer than that. It's already done. More importantly, like I said, this really doesn't have anything to do with you anyways, so I would appreciate it if you could just mind your own business. You really have some nerve talking to me like that. Don't you know who I am, after all? I think that you're the wife of the person who actually owns the business that you're talking about. So I don't really see why you think you can tell my husband and I where we can or can't eat. So if you could just let my husband and I enjoy our anniversary in peace, that would be greatly appreciated. It's just really sad. I can't help but feel bad for you. I mean, I know how poor you and your husband really are. I bet that even if you two could eat at our place, that you would only order the cheapest things on the menu and then leave without even leaving a tip for the waitstaff. Why are you being like this, Rhonda? There is no need to be this rude, you know? And we are more than able to afford eating at your restaurant, thank you very much. I don't know where you got the idea that my husband and I were poor, but it simply isn't true at all. What are you talking about? Of course you're poor. I mean, I've seen the way that your son dresses. He only owns one shirt, and don't even get me started on talking about your fashion sense. They aren't rags, it's just that our son really likes that character from his show, so we bought him multiples of the same shirt. You sure do have a lot of excuses ready to go, don't you? You know that you don't have to lie to me, though, right? I am seriously getting sick of you, Rhonda. You need to stop making so many assumptions about my family. And I don't need you speaking bad about my husband or son either, do you understand? We are literally giving your business our money, and you still have the gall to insult me?
Did you really think that we were going to let you into my restaurant when you pulled up in a piece of junk car like that? I don't ever want to see you come near my shop again.
Is this Marcus? As in Rhonda's husband, Marcus? You have really got some nerve kicking my husband and I out of your place like that. Do you know that? But I guess you are the owner after all, aren't you?
That's right. And that's why I had to throw you out of my restaurant like scraps to get tossed into the dumpster at the end of the day. After all, my business is my reputation, and I can't have people like you and your husband ruining it.
Well, you should know that Rhonda and I know each other, although I can't exactly say that her and I are good friends at all. But something tells me that you already knew that, and that's why you did what you did.
I don't care about who you know. It doesn't matter to me.
But then, I don't get it. If you didn't kick us out to make your wife happy, then why did you do it?
It is like I already told you. I have to protect my restaurant's reputation, and that means that I can't have any grubby little pores like you running around and ruining people's appetite. Folks like you shouldn't even be allowed to sit down and eat anywhere if you ask me.
Do you really hate people that are less well off than you that much? I know that your restaurant has a reputation of being really fancy, but I think it's just incredibly rude for you to be treating us this way. How can you kick out paying customers who didn't do anything wrong? What kind of business does that? Do you really think that treating your customers like that is going to protect the reputation of your business?
I think that kicking you out is the best possible thing I could have done to keep my real customers happy. Besides, it's clear that if I let you eat, that you wouldn't have been able to pay for anything in the end. You would have just caused a big scene, wouldn't you?
Do you mind telling me just why you think it's okay to look down on my husband and I like this when you don't even know who we are? I would have hoped that we could at least talk about this like adults.
If you think that you're worthy of being treated like that at all from me, then you are sorely mistaken.
And just what makes you say that? What makes you think that you know anything about my husband and I?
Oh, I saw all that I needed to do when your clunker pulled into my parking lot. That told me that all I needed to know about you two.
And tell me, is this a restaurant policy of yours? Because when we did pull in, we didn't see any signs about being judged by what kind of car we would be in. And if you must know, we were in that car because my husband and I were coming to your restaurant straight from work. But what I want to know is where you had specified the kinds of cars that were or weren't allowed to come to your restaurant. Because you can't just make up rules that the customers would have no idea about.
I am getting sick and tired of listening to these poor grumblings. What I want to know from you is why you sought to insult my restaurant by coming in that car of yours. You threw the first stone when you failed to show the proper level of respect to my establishment. Got it?
I'm sorry, but kicking us out is going to be the worst decision that you ever made as a restaurateur. You are finished after this.
Oh yeah? I would have liked to see you try and take me down. You can't do anything to me.
Oh, you're right. I won't be the one taking you down, though. That job will go to my husband. You might want to start looking into another industry because your restaurant, as you know it, is basically done for.
Ha 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 ha. You poor folks really say the craziest things sometimes. Do you know that? What could you or your husband do to affect my restaurant at all?
Well, you do know that my husband manages an important trading company, don't you?
What trading company are you talking about? Have you actually lost your mind or something?
No, I'm being completely serious with you. The fact of the matter is that neither my husband nor I are poor in the slightest.
But that can't be right. You showed up to my restaurant in your crappy little car. Only a poor person would have a car like that.
Well, we got a call from a client saying they needed some help moving some things, so that's what we were busy doing until our reservation. We went to go and help a client of ours so that we could protect the reputation of our business. Sound familiar? And thankfully, we could do everything we needed with that little truck, so that's what he used.
Oh, come on. You really expect me to believe all that?
I don't care if you don't. The fact of the matter is that it's true. And now my husband is going to make you rue the day that you were born. So prepare to kiss your restaurant goodbye.
I don't care what you say. If you're having to help out your clients yourself, then your company surely can't be that big. You're probably just mid to small size little mom and pop shop that thinks you're far important than you really are.
Do you have any idea what being a trading company even means? We move the goods that keep society flowing. So the French imports that your place relies on to promote itself as authentic, for example, are carried through our freight.
Wait, what? No, that can't be right at all. This is ridiculous.
Are you sure about that? I guess we'll see who is right tomorrow then, won't we? We're going to make you regret the way that you treated us. It's going to be too fun watching you crash and burn.
You really think that you can scare me with these empty threats? I'm not scared of you. I'll never be scared of what some pathetic little person who doesn't understand how the world works has to say to me.
Well, okay then. If you're really still not going to apologize after all I've told you, you'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. I hope business goes well for you.
Hey, it's Hillary, right? You need to get in contact with your husband right away. How am I supposed to do business like this, huh?
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to be a little more specific with that. I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about. Besides, is that any way to speak to someone that you're going to have to beg for help?
You really think that you're going to get away with this? You're going to drive me into the ground at this point.
So I take it that means you haven't gotten some of the shipments of food you need to run your business for the day, right? I did try to warn you that something like this would happen, didn't I?
This isn't a joke, okay? Did you read the message that I sent you? How in the world am I supposed to operate my business like this? I know that this is your doing. You were the one saying all those weird things to me yesterday. But I need the food here now. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to open.
So then you're reaching out to me because you think that I can help you get those supplies that you so desperately need? Because honestly, I don't really feel all that obligated to help you out at all. And my husband feels the same way too.
Are you kidding me? I am being serious here. You can't do this to me.
In fact, we were actually reading some review of your restaurant last night, and while everyone seems to agree that the prices are high, the reviews of the food itself are quite mixed.
You're talking about my restaurant? That can't be right at all. And anyone who thinks that my food isn't good needs to have their tongue medically examined.
Are you sure about that? I suppose I can't exactly say for myself since you kicked my husband and I out of your place before we could make up our minds. After all, that was one of the reasons why we chose to go to your place to begin with.
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh?
Well, I actually wanted to go to a different place for our anniversary, but my husband insisted that we go to your place. We were worried about having to take our children with us at first, and I told my husband that they wouldn't enjoy French food. But then, when my parents said they could watch our kids, there was basically nothing else keeping us from going.
That still doesn't explain anything to me at all. Just tell me why you're doing this to me.
Well, my husband really enjoys eating out at the restaurants that he helps supply food to, though if your character is anything to base your food off of, it must not be that great anyway.
Those two things have nothing to do with one another. You can't just judge my cooking when you haven't even tried it.
Well, I suppose it's far too late to try and remedy that now, right?
No. The problem here is that your husband is trying to hold me and my restaurant hostage right now.
And I'm not sure what any of that has to do with me, personally.
Oh, come on. Surely this has to go against some contract that him and I have had to have signed to do business, right? I order goods and he delivers them. I paid for a service that he isn't providing. Doesn't he know I could sue him for this?
You might have a point there if it weren't for the fact that you've been paying on credit for some time now.
Wait, how do you know about that?
Because the person you do your business with is my husband. Not that you even noticed when we were in the restaurant, though. Anyways, my husband told his overseers to stop any shipments to your restaurant until you've cleared your tab with his company. It's either that or you'll have to find a new supplier.
I don't believe it. Your husband would really do that to me?
That's right. But if you'd like to complain about it, I'd rather you direct your complaints to him instead. I can't really do anything, and I certainly don't want to read all your complaints through text.
Well, the only reason I'm reaching out to you is because I don't know how to reach your husband. And just how was I supposed to know he was some big business guy anyways? Besides, he can't just involve our businesses in what is clearly a personal dispute. It's cowardly.
Really? You think that doing something like this is cowardly?
Of course it is. What kind of professional even acts like this? It's just ridiculous.
That's funny because I was thinking the exact same thing yesterday.
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh?
Well, I suppose you've heard a little bit about us from your wife, right?
Well, sure, she talks about you now and then. But I only half pay attention, really.
And I suppose it's probably because of your wife that you think my husband and I are so poor, right? And that's what led to you treating us the way that you did. You didn't treat us like customers, you treated us like garbage.
But I mean, the truck that you guys come in was filthy. How was I supposed to know that you weren't really poor?
I don't know why you think you can guess that much about people's lives just from the car that they drive. But I guess that's all the reason you need to chase us out, though. Now you tell me, is that any way for a professional to act towards his customers? I don't think someone like you even deserves to have a business, personally.
So what? You're really just going to ruin all the hard work I've done because you don't like me?
No, Marcus. What happens next is entirely up to you. If you can find another seller, then you should be able to be back up and running by next week. Otherwise, you can pay the debts that you already owe to my husband. It's entirely in your hands.
Hillary, can you please tell your husband to stop this? I'm begging you.
You mean you want me to talk to him on your behalf?
That's right. If we can't get our supplies in right now, then things are going to be really bad. I don't know how long it's going to take to find a supplier that can get me everything that I need. I don't know how long my restaurant is going to stay open without the food coming in from your husband.
A very interesting proposal, but I think I'm going to pass.
Please, you can't do this to me. I'm really begging you here. I need your help.
And I'm telling you that I don't think I owe you anything after the way that you treated my husband and I. You and your horrible wife. Although I guess I see how you two ended up together now.
Okay, that is it. You could talk bad about me all you want, but you will not talk bad about my wife.
I think I just did. And I was really only being honest. You two really are a good match for each other, it seems. But don't worry, you aren't ever going to see my husband or I in your restaurant ever again. For however long it manages to stay open, that is. Have a nice life after that happens, jerk. After that, Marcus tried desperately to look for a new supplier to bring him the ingredients that he needed to stay open. Meanwhile, the bad reviews of his restaurant continued to gain attention as people wondered why the restaurant was closed on days it would normally be open. And why were they missing so many things from their menu? Needless to say, the restaurant was on its final legs. I heard that Marcus and Rhonda started getting into more and more fights after that, and in the end, they divorced. It was then that Marcus came to my husband begging for his help. But he simply ignored him. Marcus was only going deeper and deeper into debt until he was eventually forced to declare bankruptcy. But I say that he and his wife got exactly what they deserved. As for my husband and I, our lives really didn't change much. We offered special deals with other French restaurants in town who needed similar ingredients as what Marcus normally ordered from us. In this way, we didn't have to let any stock go to waste and were able to divert what Marcus would buy into other customers' businesses. And now, with Marcus's restaurant out of the way, there was actually a flourishing of French places to eat in town. So in a way, Marcus's restaurant failing has now put our town on the map as a hub of French cuisine. I guess it just goes to show you that you should never assume you're too big to fail.
Okay, Penelope, I have been trying to get in contact with you for a little bit now because I need you to take care of something for me. It's the least you can do for your mother-in-law. Well, you know I can't help you with anything right now. You're going on a business trip, so the timing is a bit off, don't you think? What do you mean by you need me to do something? Isn't it possible to just change the timing of things a little bit since you're not going to be around? You're going overseas, and your request has come at a not-so-good time, okay? I get it. It's work. I can't help that. But seriously, I need assistance. I can't just relax and take multiple visits to the hospital like you. I've got to earn money for the treatment. Haven't we gone over this? We've properly discussed the issue when it comes to the treatment costs. Corey and I are paying the bills, and you shouldn't be forcing yourself to work right now. And you saying that is supposed to make you all high and mighty, huh? Really? I'm not kidding around here. I was assigned to go on a business trip overseas. It's important. But I don't understand why you're even working in the first place, okay? Also, who the heck is in charge of your overseas business trip anyway? Why are you even asking me who it is? Oh, if you must know, it's Mr. Davidson. I received an important order from him to go. Would you quit with the interrogation? Huh? What are you even talking about? Are you seriously kidding me right now? What is going on here, Gretchen? I don't think you're giving me the full story here. Look, you wouldn't understand if I talked to you about work that I do, right? So just shut up, would you? You're so infuriating right now. I'm not being anything that you're saying. You are being so rude right now, Gretchen. I'm just asking questions, but I guess I can see that you don't want to talk about it. Anyway, I'm leaving all the things that need to be done up to you. You're in charge, and you better do things properly. I mean it. You better listen and obey me, Penelope. I'll be back in time for Rita's wedding, so I'm requesting that you do what needs to be taken care of until then. I don't ask for much, so just obey me for once. I can't believe the way you're talking to me right now. You could be just a little bit nicer towards me if you want things handled here while you're away, Gretchen. Excuse me? What's with that attitude? You know who you are, Penelope. You are a worthless piece of trash, so just listen to what I've got to say to you, you idiot. I'm a piece of trash and an idiot, huh? Of course I'll listen. I'll continue to accompany my father-in-law even if he doesn't ask me to help him out. But you know, my dear mother-in-law, it really does pain me to say this. My father-in-law does not have a lot of time left. He's not going to be here much longer. I do wonder if he'll even be able to see Rita be a bride at her own wedding. I really don't think Richard is going to hold on for that. He is really ill. And who are you to say something like that for, huh? Since when are you the god of death? Do you determine how long he lives for, Penelope? Huh? What is that supposed to mean? I'm not the god of death or anything like that, okay? I'm just saying that he's very sick. What is your deal, Gretchen? I don't know. To me, it seems like you know a heck of a lot about the human lifespan, so that's why I was asking. It's just weird you saying something like that. Don't start rattling off about things you don't understand, you stupid woman. You don't know anything about my husband and his condition. But I'm just saying that it's important for you to be there for him. If his wife is by his side, I think it would make Richard feel reassured about what's happening to him. Corey and I are paying for the treatment, so I think it's best for you not to work at this time and be there for your husband. Don't you think so? Oh, just shut up, you little cow. You don't know anything, and I've already made my decision about this. I'm going on this overseas trip, and that is final. I've already booked the flight, and I've got my hotel suite reserved as well, so I'm not going back on what I've already got sorted. So just shut your mouth. What? The hotel suite is already reserved. Which is more important right now, Gretchen? Your husband or the flights and hotel you're going to? Again, you keep saying the most absurd things to me, and it's getting very annoying. You throw this god of death crap at me. What's going on here? You are losing it right now, Gretchen. I'm not acting like the god of death or anything of the sort. I'm just telling you that Richard is not in a good place. You know, even though you're just some low-income earner, you act very cocky towards me, and I am sick of it. You're the lowest of the low in this society. I don't know if you're trying to stand out, even though you live such a shadowy and useless life, or what, but could you stop interrupting me all the time? Don't you see how my own children act towards me? They treat me with respect, and they don't say anything like this towards me, do they? Well, both Rita and Corey are pretty disappointed in what you're doing right now. You're practically abandoning your husband. Excuse me, what the heck did you just say to me, you little witch? I'm not doing anything of the sort. My kids both respect me a lot and would never feel like that. As a newcomer to this family, what would you even know about my own children? I raised them and I know them like the back of my hand. Okay, understood, Gretchen. You do know your children very well, but go ahead, do as you like. Go wherever you need to go. Do what you want since you're not going to listen to me. Of course I'll do whatever I want, so you need to back off and stop hassling me. But generally speaking, you're just talking back to me so no one knows about the purpose of why you're wanting the inheritance. Excuse me? What on earth are you even talking about, Gretchen? What inheritance? Why are you bringing that up when I've never mentioned it at all? Well, that's why you're desperately wanting to take care of my husband in his hour of need, isn't it? To get closer to him, right? To get the inheritance. You know that it's very obvious to us. You're so stupid in thinking you could hide what you were doing. How are Rita and Corey not turned off by your presence? Excuse me? How dare you try and accuse me of trying to do something like that to this family? It has never been my intention at all to take any inheritance. I think if you care and love the family you're in, I think it's very natural to want to visit them a lot if they're very sick. That's all I've been doing since Richard fell ill. Yeah, you often say that to the family, don't you? Even though we're not related by blood. Oh. Let me tell you right now, no matter how much you take care of him, it'll be no use. You'll never see your name added to his will. You're really not part of this family, and you don't deserve anything. You'll never see any of the money. Okay, so that means you know about his will and what it contains, am I right? He's already told you what he's preparing to do with what he has? Well, of course I know what's in his will, you silly little girl. I'm his wife, after all. I'm a devoted wife who even travels overseas so that I can earn some money for his treatment. You're just an outsider who's a gold-digging, good-for-nothing woman who'll never receive an inheritance no matter how hard you try to get it out of my husband. You know what, Gretchen? It doesn't matter if I can't get it or not, okay? Because I don't think I really want it at all. I'm not here in this family to rip off anyone. I'm here for Corey as support and to love him unconditionally. Well, you really are just an annoying parasite trying to weasel her way in, aren't you? How strong do you think you are? Well, at least just be quiet around me, all right? Oh, mother-in-law, it really is a shame that you think of me like that. You really need to be more careful about the things you say to people, but do what you want, I guess.
Hey, Penelope, you really need to back off a bit, okay? Stop trying to get into a fight with my mom. You really need to leave it alone and stop being an idiot.
But I'm just trying to do what's best for your father, and your mother really needs to be there for him. He's awfully lonely right now. No matter how much of a cow she is, in the end, she wins.
I understand what you're trying to say, Penelope. I really do, but my mother is going abroad, okay? I don't know what kind of business she's doing, but she's obviously not thinking about Dad. It can't be helped that my father married a woman like her. She doesn't show much interest in him and tries to find some kind of excuse to not look after him.
Well, it shouldn't be that way. Your father really needs to see your mother. He wants to see her face. He calls her name every now and then, so I think he wants to say something to her.
Look, my mom is not accepting any contact from him right now, so there's not much that can be done about this. Even my father knows that my mom is trash. It really can't be helped right now, Penelope. There's nothing that we can do about it, dear wife. We just have to let Mom do what she wants, otherwise we get yelled and screamed at.
But things shouldn't be like this, especially since your father is practically dying in this hospital bed and wants to see his wife. She can't do this to him.
Hey, I get it, but that's enough of that, Penelope. Everyone here still has a lot of love for Mom. She herself still thinks that she's a mother that needs to be respected. I understand that my father wants to see her in his final moments of life, but maybe it'll be much better if we didn't let her see him. She really is not a great woman, I can tell you that.
But why are you talking about her in this way when she's being so horrible and just abandoning your father when he needs people around him?
Why? I think you know the reason why, Penelope. I'm surprised that you haven't noticed why she's actually leaving the country for an overseas trip.
But what she's doing is so terrible, and she shouldn't be allowed to do this with your father in the hospital and basically dying. It's not fair on him.
I do get that, okay? If my father's gonna die soon, I'm gonna take responsibility for everything that's happened while she's away, but for now, I just want to focus on my father.
You're right, Corey. I'm really sorry for continuing to bring this up. I'm just so sick of your mother treating everyone so badly. I understand what you're getting at.
No, you're fine. I always know that you're acting out of kindness toward my father and the rest of the family. I'm sorry, too. My head's spinning and I'm confused over so many things.
I guess that a situation like this can't be helped. I just wish that I could do more to help you out. I just want things to be okay for everyone.
I understand what you mean. Me too. I'm trying to predict how Rita's wedding is going to happen next week, especially with what's going on with my mother and father.
Hey, Penelope, we need to talk right now. Why aren't you replying to me? I'm your mother-in-law, and you need to respond to me quickly. What on earth are you doing right now?
Huh? Gretchen, is everything okay? What's going on? What is it that you want? What's the urgency for? Are you going to explain why you're messaging me?
Why aren't you there first? Oh, this makes no sense. Since you're my son's wife, you need to come earlier than everyone else and help me prepare.
Huh? Aren't you the one that hasn't come over yet? We contacted you over and over again yesterday and the day before yesterday, okay? You never answered us.
What on earth are you talking about? I was traveling abroad, so I turned off my phone to save power. That's why I never replied to anyone the past few days.
Excuse me? What did you just say? You're traveling abroad right now? I don't understand. What's going on here? You're on vacation?
Wait a minute. No, that's a mistake. I'm on an overseas business trip right now. You know that. I was at work, so I didn't have time to answer my phone.
Okay, that doesn't really matter right now. Gretchen, please come back here right away. Everyone is already here, and we're getting really confused by the situation.
Don't turn things around on me by saying that you don't even understand, Penelope. How can it be that my daughter's wedding was canceled at the last minute? If you don't go and sort this whole mess out right now, I'm going to make you divorce my son. So maybe you should prepare yourself to do that.
Gretchen, if anything, you're the one who has no idea what's going on around here since you've bailed on us.
Your daughter is at the funeral home right now. Excuse me? What funeral home? Why is she there for? What the heck are you talking about, you stupid woman? Oh, spit it out already. I want to know.
Hey, stop calling me stupid, and you're the one who's causing trouble around here.
I'm talking about your own husband's funeral, for goodness sake.
Why do you think we've been trying to contact you for the past 2 days, Gretchen? 2 nights ago, your husband passed away, and you've been ignoring our calls.
Oh, Richard's gone?
Oh, really?
I don't believe it. Is that so? You're seriously telling me through a message that my husband has died?
From now, the funeral procession will start. Let me guess, you're at the wedding venue right now, aren't you? Because you didn't answer your phone to us.
Why, of course that's where I am. How was I to know until now that the wedding wasn't going to be held? I was waiting for everyone to arrive and no one showed up.
If you actually picked up your phone, we would have told you that Rita's gone and canceled the wedding because of Richard dying. You're the only one who hasn't come.
Well, I can't help that I'm not there. I wasn't even told that my own husband was dead. Anyway, I'm on my way there right now. Where's the funeral home?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to tell you. I think it's better that you don't come over here. It would save us a lot of trouble, and your children are focusing on this.
What on earth did you just say to me, you little cow? What do you mean you're not going to tell me the directions to the funeral home?
We were unable to get in touch with you, Gretchen, and you didn't bother picking up. You ignored us. You didn't bother showing up to the funeral home. All of your relatives' anger levels have reached a peak level, Gretchen. You've made everyone feel like crap, and it's best if you stay away. So stop trying to come here.
But, oh, how can that be? Why should they be so angry when I had no idea what was going on? I had to work so that I could pay my way. I can't help that. I'm going to be there if it's the last thing I do. It's my husband's funeral, and I am definitely going to attend. You're not going to turn me away from this.
I don't get why you're being like this, Gretchen. If you feel that much for Richard, why didn't you ever come and visit him while he was sick in the hospital?
Because I was working to try and earn some money for his treatment. Oh, it doesn't just pay for itself, does it? Hospitalization fees, surgery fees, and other stuff costs a lot of money, okay?
Yeah, and I don't know how many times we've told you, but Corey and I said that we would cover the payments so that you could just be there for Richard, but you haven't. All you've done recently is gone overseas on some mysterious trip. Why go to all that trouble just so you can leave and not bother looking after your husband?
How many times do I have to repeat myself? It's so I can repay you both for what you're paying for. After all, he's my husband, and it's only natural for me to pay you back.
Oh, really? You're actually going to pay us back for everything? Are you sure?
Well, that's great to hear. Thank you so much for giving us the money. We appreciate it. Excuse me? Oh, what are you even talking about, you stupid little girl? Do you expect me to give you all the money just like that or something?
Well, didn't you just say that you were going to compensate us for all the things that Corey and I have paid for? Isn't that what you're going to do? Well, I just wanted to say that we're very grateful to you for doing that. We were also struggling to make ends meet on the payments, and it's been tough for a while.
Huh? No, that's not what I meant when I say that I was wanting to repay you both for all the fees that you forked out money for.
But I don't understand. That was what you just said, wasn't it? You said that you'll repay us in full and then you won't owe us anything anymore, right?
Well, yes, I did say something along the lines of that, but, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get you both the money in a hurry.
If that's not the reason why you're wanting to earn money, how come you went on a business trip overseas during a time when your husband was really sick?
No, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm doing. This is to compensate you for all the medical expenses that needed to be paid for. Yes, I'm paying you back.
That makes me so happy to hear that, actually. I'll send you an estimate of the treatment costs later. Well then, it's better if you don't show your face here, Gretchen.
What? Why not? Oh, things can't happen like this. I need to be at my husband's funeral, though. I'm going to be there no matter what. I'm going to show up.
Hey, you old bag, what do you think you're trying to pull here, huh? You need to stop this right now. We're done with you. Let us grieve our father in peace.
Huh? Corey, why on earth are you talking to me in such a harsh tone? What's gotten into you? What do you mean, stop this? I'm not doing anything at all.
I'm literally telling you to not even bother coming to my father's funeral. What the heck are you planning to bring down on us, Mom?
Bring down on you? What the heck is that supposed to mean, huh? I'm not going to cause any trouble at all. What are you talking about, son?
You went abroad without a care in the world and didn't even bother coming to visit Dad in the hospital. You didn't even respond to my calls when I was trying to tell you that he passed away. How do you think people would feel if you showed up to his funeral when you basically abandoned him on his deathbed, huh? It's disgusting behavior from a wife who obviously doesn't care about my father.
Excuse me? What did you just say to me? No matter what you or anyone else says to me, I am Richard's wife and I've got a right to be at my own husband's funeral.
Okay, you old bag. I guess you're not getting the message. Why did you never go to visit Dad, Mom? Why would you even want to come to the funeral if you never visited him?
That's why. Oh, because I wasn't able to visit him. Don't you think it's only natural for me to want to attend his funeral, Corey? I'm his wife, for goodness sake.
If you were any kind of wife to my father, you would have visited him in the hospital and took care of him while he was dying. You didn't really care about his condition, did you? The reason you're acting so anxious right now and needing to show your face here is because you're aiming to grab my father's inheritance, aren't you?
Excuse me? What on earth are you talking about? I loved Richard, and as his wife, I'm supposed to be there, and I am the leader of this family now. Don't you get that?
You're no leader. You're nothing but a selfish cow. My guess is that if you don't come to the funeral, you think you're gonna miss out on the offerings that people want to give, right?
That's not it at all. That isn't important to me. I'm not like that. My interest in the inheritance, it doesn't matter. You better watch what's happening over there. I bet Penelope wants to get her hands all over that money the people will be offering us. That's the money we need for support. You can't just let her take it.
You obviously don't know my wife very well at all. She was the one who volunteered to pay for Dad's medical and funeral expenses. Even though it is inheritance, she has a right to receive it.
Okay, that's enough nonsense now, Corey, but if that's the case, I guess she has the right to have some of the money in terms of being compensated.
You know, Mom, you've actually got nothing to worry about when it comes to all the money being dished out. Your name wasn't in Dad's last will and testament.
Wait,
What did you just say to me? Oh, is this some kind of sick prank you're trying to pull on me since I wasn't around to visit your father? Are you kidding me right now?
Let me be more precise in my wording of this so that you understand, Mom. Your name was erased from his will, and by the looks of it, Dad erased it himself.
Huh? What the heck is going on here? Are you seriously kidding me? He erased my name? But that makes no sense. I'm his wife and have been for years.
Not long before Dad passed away, he told us that he wanted the contents of his will changed before he got into an even worse state of health. Your name was removed from the list of people that he wanted to give something to, and he added Penelope to his will as well.
Excuse me? What? He put that little cow, Penelope, on his stupid little will that he had made up? How could you let that happen when I'm his wife and deserve the inheritance? We all know that vile woman was only looking after your father so that she could get your father's inheritance. She's trying to kick me to the curb, I know it.
No, you're doing that all on your own, you stupid old bag. You were really the one that was looking forward to inheriting everything, weren't you?
What? No, that's not true at all. I've got no idea what you're talking about, son. I'd never do such a thing to your father. I loved him, and I wasn't in the marriage for his money.
Oh, shut up, you cruel and vile woman. Dad noticed everything that you did. He was sick, but he wasn't stupid when it came to you and how you've acted. He knew that it's been a long time since you had love for him, and vice versa. While he was in that hospital bed, he discovered that you were having an affair behind his back.
What? Oh, that's simply not true. I would never do that to your father. I really did love him. He was making all of this up. He was mistaken and in the wrong for accusing me of that.
Don't you dare lie to me now. I can see right through you. Let me tell you now, everyone noticed what you were doing, not just Dad. We're not dumb. You're the one who's the money grabber. The only reason you stayed with my father in the first place was so that you could get his money when he died. Do you really think that my father was going to give you the satisfaction? Who would want to give money to a person like you, Mom?
Now just hold on a minute there, Corey, okay? Wait and let me explain. I'm not having an affair with another man. You're just making things up so that you won't let me into the funeral home.
Oh, shut up. Do you seriously think I'd do something like that? I'm not as evil as you old and miserable hag. We've already got the evidence of the affair in our hands. Anything you say to us now is pointless. Dad really tried to believe your innocence until the end, but he still died knowing that you betrayed him. How could you? He finally acknowledged his own wife's infidelity and figured out how he could make you pay for it. So he rewrote the will so you wouldn't get anything, and then passed away. Do you have any idea how hard that must have been for him to do that? Especially to the wife that he was married to for so many years? All you are is a homewrecker, Gretchen.
But it's not true. Don't you dare call me by my first name. I'm your mother. I've done everything that I could have done for that man. You've got no idea how much I've done. Also, on top of cutting me out of his will, it's so odd that he prioritized Penelope over his own wife. I'm sure she was the one who blackmailed your father into doing this.
She did nothing of the sort. It was Dad's idea to change it, and she had no influence over him at all. She didn't abandon Dad at the end like you did.
Excuse me? Do you think I seriously abandoned your father to go on some trip? Oh, clearly you're quite mistaken, son. I've done a lot for your father over the years.
I don't know how he put up with you for so many years, but he loved you, Mom. He wasn't in love with anyone but you, and he never betrayed you like you did to him. Even while he was in the hospital bed going senile, he was calling out your name in pain, wondering where you went. You left him when he needed you the most. I really never thought that anyone in our family would just leave and forget to visit a sick person in the hospital. It's just cruel and upsetting.
Is what you said about your father saying my name true? Did he actually want me there? He was still in love with me this entire time?
Are you insane? Of course he was. Don't ask me why, though, when you're such a terrible human being. Penelope continued to contact you and persuaded you to come and visit him. While respecting my father's wishes and just wanting to do whatever he said, she also prayed that you'd see what was happening and actually see him in person. Until the end, Penelope continued to be the bridge between you and Dad. If she was aiming to get her hands on my dad's money, she wouldn't have begged you to visit him. It would have been a hindrance to her. We told her that there was no need to do this anymore since you ignored everyone's opinion on this, so I said to leave you alone.
Is that really what you told her? She was trying to help me out then? I had no idea that she was doing anything of the sort. There was no reason for me to be removed from the will at all.
No, I think there was, Mom. While Dad was suffering with his illness in the hospital, you were off gallivanting overseas with someone that you were making out with. There's no way you were inheriting anything. My father was so kind up until things turned for the worst. He was hesitant to do what he did until the end, but he knew deep down he made the right decision.
Okay, well, that's not what I want to focus on anymore. I'm coming to the funeral right now. I've got a right to receive any inheritance money that's given out today.
You need to stop this crap right now. Even if you come here now, nothing is going to change. You'll get nothing out of anyone here. We don't feel sorry for you at all. The only people here at this funeral are people that loved my father, and now they hate my mother. We don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Oh, shut up, you little jerk. How could you do something like this to me? You can't keep me away. I am your mother and always will be. I'll never forgive you for this. I am getting that inheritance. You really need to calm down, Gretchen. Acting out like this isn't going to do anyone any good at all. People are trying to farewell Richard. You can't go wild at a funeral. It's all your fault because you won't let me in. What is so great about you, huh, Penelope? All you are is a thief. You don't deserve anything from my husband, you money grabber. How dare you? I am no money grabber. You're an adult. You need to act like one because I'm sick and tired of dealing with someone who acts like a child. You have been caught having an affair, and Richard finally did something about it to get back at you. He was able to basically do that from beyond the grave. We don't want you here. Don't come anywhere near the funeral home or we'll call the police and have you arrested. Also, I'll get my compensation for all the treatment fees from you. How dare you attack me like this, you pathetic little girl. You're not going to get away with this. You don't have any rights to anything and you're ruining everything for me. No, Gretchen, you did all that on your own. Now, if you'll excuse us, we've got a funeral to attend. We want to grieve in peace, so let us do that. Please, just pay me back my money, too, so we can end this mess. In the end, Gretchen did have an affair and was made to pay alimony to the living relatives of her husband's family. She was ordered to pay for the damages, but sure enough, she ran away from making the payments. Penelope, Corey, and Rita decided to not abandon the situation, but to face it. They managed to convince Gretchen to pay them the money they deserved. Perhaps she was moved by the fact that they didn't try to abandon her. Gradually, Gretchen showed signs of remorse and took on the debt and made the payments. They hoped to play a role in her rehabilitation. Even though it was initially canceled, her daughter Rita had her wedding after the funeral. Gretchen declined her invitation, but other relatives came to celebrate the day. It was a great day, and they hoped to all move on well as a family.